What's up, guys? We're in Las Vegas at the Gentlemen's Club Classic. I'm going to give you guys an update as much as I can this year with some in-the-bag videos, update you on the course from last year, how I'm feeling, how I'm practicing for the tournament coming up. This year, the Las Vegas course has changed about 75% of the whole course. There's a lot of new holes, a lot of different out-of-bounds areas. I think it's going to play really nice. It's a lot longer than in the years past. It's supposed to get really windy out at the course over the weekend. The course is really long, so I throw a lot of drivers. I have a lot of D-Series discs in my bag, a lot of H-Series. I throw a lot of H1s, D2s, and PA1s off of the tee box. But in my bag this year, I have the two H1s. One's with my signature stamp. The other is one of the first H1s that I got. This one is really overstable. This one's a little bit less stable, but still going to be dumping left at the end of its flight. And then I have an H750 Series H2 in the bag. This H2 is pretty straight, and it's that speed just above the F Series to get me that little bit more distance or a really long hyzer shot. I'm really liking the H2. For drivers, I keep a good amount in there. The X1 is a disc that's made for really big headwinds or skip shots. I throw a lot of the X1 out there on the course. I had to mark out the 4 in the 2014 because it's 2015. New season, so I had to look forward to the new shots coming up. I have a D1 400G series in my bag. This disc is pretty overstable, good for the headwind distance drives. There's going to be a lot of those out on the course. I have a Airborne Stamp 400G series D3. This disc is my long turnover or tailwind driver, hyzer flip. This disc is probably the longest disc in my bag, especially if I need a turnover shot. I have two 400G series D2s, and these are my favorite distance drivers, most consistent in my bag right now. These are good with just a slight headwind where I need to go really far and straight, and then it finishes slightly to the left. So it's a really good in between the D1 and D3 for me right now. My roller disc is a special edition Kyle Webster 400G series D4. He had to write on there that it flips, and this thing is almost all it does is flip for me. It's 165 grams, and it's a really good roller disc. There's a couple holes out at Sunset Park where I throw a roller, and this is really long and consistent. So thanks, Kyle. My F series, I only have 2 in my bag. I throw a lot of the 400 series F1. This disc is really consistent. I can throw it really hard and flat, and I know it's always going to finish with the hyzer, still in a little bit of headwind. I throw this disc a couple times off the tee pad, but once again, there's a lot of really long shots, so I'm either throwing a D series or an M series off the tee pad at this course. The other fairway I have in my bag is a 750 series F5, and this disc is really straight with a slightly understable fade about halfway through its flight. I can throw this disc with a little bit of hyzer. It's going to go straight and fade a little to the right. It's really consistent on the turnover. The mid-ranges, I have a black 750 series M1. This disc is really overstable. It's really consistent, still good for a little bit of a headwind. It's really nice to have in your bag when you really need something to fade to the left at the end. It doesn't have a whole lot of skip. It's actually been one of my favorite mid-ranges that I've put in my bag. I was really surprised when I threw it. And the other mid-range I have is a 750 series M3. This one is really flat. And at first, I actually didn't really like this disc. And then I kept it in my bag for a little bit and kept throwing it. And I ended up really loving this. I can throw this one really far and straight. And if I put a little bit of a turnover on it, it'll hold and slightly fade at the end. But this is one of my favorite mids and probably my most thrown mid-range all around. For throwing putters, I have a 300 series PA3. This is one actually that I chained out for Ace on hole 1 at the USDGC. This one is getting pretty beat up. I can throw it with a little bit of a hyzer, and it'll go straight and then fade to the right. On short up shots, it's really good also because it doesn't really fade hard left or right. It's got a really neutral flight. I have two 300 series PA1s, and these are getting slightly beat up, but I can throw them really hard on a slight hyzer, and they stay on the hyzer and go fairly straight or have a slow left finish. But these are really nice and grippy. I've been throwing these off the tee box a lot. They're really good for up shots. I really suggest getting some and trying to putt with them or throw them off the tee box. The last throwing putter in my bag is a 300 series PA4. This disc is fairly understable, but really consistent. I actually throw this for a roller off of the tee box on hole 4 of the Las Vegas course. And really consistent, good for the 100-foot up shots, good for the slow turnovers. This disc is really controllable and probably had the most amount of throw-ins with this disc in the last couple months just because it's so straight. My putters, I'm using the Special Edition 350G PA3s, and I put these in my bag when Chris Adams sent me to them, one of my good friends in Knoxville, and got some good karma on these putters, and I've been putting really well lately with them, and I think it's going to continue going into the tournament. I feel pretty good with them. And that's my in the bag. That's my update on the course and the tournament, and hope you guys watch for some more footage coming up.